Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the March 2024 Energy Update. I'm Casey Aileen Knight of Luminous Evolution, and I'm here to help you shine your light in the world. Whatever that means to you, I want to give you the inner resources to handle the upcoming energies. So this conversation is more specifically, this energy update is more specifically for the people who identify as energetically sensitive, light workers, way showers, maybe it's a starseed, earth angel, it doesn't matter what title you have, but you are an intuitive being who is sensitive to energy, who is also here to help the world. This is the energy that I tap into every month. And I do this in a couple ways. We're going to go through the astrology, the main archetypes, but also the intuition that I bring forward through my psychic channel. Because every month I tune in and I get the impression of the month ahead. So when I took a look at March, I go, hey, March, what are you bringing in? And I did this like at the beginning of February, actually, when I was just putting out my February energy update. I was like, what's ahead? And this was immediate. It was a rainstorm, it was a downpour, a deluge, but the rain was very like iridescent. It looked a little bit more like plasma, like light, like water's highest self. And I also know from the intel that's been coming in for a very long time that we're going to be in this spring and summer, a very, sorry, for the Northern Hemisphere, fall and winter for you guys, but for this time period coming up from the equinox to the equinox, a lot of solar activity. So this does not surprise me at all. It's been forecast both psychically and with like space weather projections, and the energy that is coming in the form of a what actually a friend of mine, Jason Estes, calls a light rain, um, is for us. It's happening for us. It's upgrades, the cosmic radiation and the solar energy, the literal light codes are to be flowing through us to illuminate all the density that's still inside of us and then upgrade us, to shift us, to activate our DNA and clear things out that don't need to be there anymore, the old stuff, and help us anchor in the new. Now, when I was psychically looking at the deluge that was coming in May, I saw two figures. And one was basically dancing in the rain like Gene Kelly in Singing in the Rain, but then they threw their arms back and their head and they were just like, and you could feel heart open. They were just like, yes. And I could see that the rain wasn't landing on them and like rolling off. It was going through them and it felt so good. The other figure was like hiding from the rain and trying to shield themselves and doing whatever they could to stay dry. And that was causing a lot of panic, honestly, because they were like, no, I can't get wet, no, I can't get wet. Whereas the other person was in this, like, not just acceptance, but like ecstatic surrender of it. And I kind of laughed because I was like, oh, this is kind of like February's energy. If you were around for February's energy update, I saw vortices of energy with two people, and it was like one person who was in alignment was like, this is fine. And the person who was out of alignment, who was like off balance, off kilter, was like sucked into the energy vortex and spit back out. It was very much more dramatic than March's. And I was like, okay, well, this is almost a different way of saying the same thing. And of course, I'm not surprised. We're experiencing more and more polarity on the planet right now, where people are having different experiences depending on a couple internal factors. It's basically how regulated is their nervous system and how much can they handle. And this is why, since 2019 and beyond, I have been preaching the self care, not the bubble bath kind, but the kind that gets your alignment and your physical body and your mental and emotional and energetic bodies as clear as possible and as rooted and anchored as possible to be unfuckwithable so that you could handle what's coming. Because again, it's not going to get easier. You can just get better at handling it. So if you've been doing the inner work to regulate your nervous system, to really clear out density. Things can flow through you more easily. If you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't done the inner work, like no time like the present to get started. There are resources that I have available. Just check all of my links to support you in that process. But I know the people that I'm having this conversation with that are actually watching this, you're like, I have been doing the inner work. I know there's more to do, but like I've got this. And I want you to know that your hope and faith in yourself and the world are absolutely valid. They are here because you need to be an example of what it looks like to throw your head back and be like, oh, this is really intense, but it's also amazing. And it's happening for me. And if I totally am in surrender and I'm not resisting at all, it can actually be blissful. It can be ecstatic. Like the energy that's open to us right now, sometimes it can feel like it's short circuiting our system because it's too much, but you can also tap into it in meditation, in ecstatic dance, in prayer modes when you're just in channeling flow. And it is going to lead you to feel literal bliss. It's absolutely stunning. It's so stunning. But isn't that crazy? That the experience of blissful energy can also feel like it's burning away at yourself and it's overwhelming. And like, yeah, because it's burning the stuff that's not actually you, but we're trying to hang on to. So we have to be doing everything that we can this month to do the work on all levels and layers to clear ourselves out. If you've been watching these for any length of time, working with me in my world, I've been saying this for a while. The energy of February was like become unfuckwithable, and it was basically leading us up to this March and beyond energy. We had an amazing set of astrology stelliums in Aquarius in February. And we've moved our energy into this Piscean energy. The Aquarian energy was very much the visionary, bringing through the future codes. And now we are in the Piscean energy with the sun. And that is the energy in its highest form of the Bodhisattva, of the one who goes in and achieves inner peace and harmony and says, you know what? I could just vibe here. I could just vibe here on my own and I could be fine with that and I could just live like this. But no, I am actually not going to stay in that space until everyone else that wants to come here is here with me. So Piscean energy is that of service, devoted service to humanity, right? In its highest expression. And so there is a lot of invitation right now coming in for you to use your soul gifts, for you to stop waiting and dreaming about it and to start actually tuning in and being uh like realizing it's time, right? It's time, it's time, it's time, and I can't wait. And if you're already utilizing your service gifts for humanity, like there's more. There's this infinite evolution of it. And we're also marching towards the equinox and the astrological new year. So as the sun moves from March to Aries, we're going to feel this energy of like vitality and new beginnings and all of that fresh energy that's going to come in mid-month. But a little bit more of that Aries energy that like we've got these dreams for the Bodhisattva. We're going to be of service to humanity. We're going to help, but not at our own expense, by the way, like from our overflow. We talk about that a lot. The Aries energy to kick things off is going to start on March 9th. And so that's when Mercury enters Aries. And Mercury is our lens of perception, how we see the world, and also how we communicate with the world. And so the Aries feeling is like fresh, new perspectives on things. But there's also going to be this energy of like for self first, because Aries is a self first sign where it might feel like there's a little more self centeredness. I want you to realize that's not a bad thing, okay? Most people actually need more time being self centered. And you might go, Casey, what do you mean? We're here to be in devotional service to the world. Yeah, but not as a martyr. Not as a martyr, not anymore. That used to be how we got soul points. And that's why it's so ingrained in spiritual people to give and give and give until there's nothing left. That used to be how, in our old paradigm where we were in survival and scarcity, that's how your soul leveled up. And that has shifted, but we're still carrying the old identity. We're still carrying the old energy of we give and give and give until there's nothing left because that is selfless service. Nah, that was the old way. That actually kept us from being able to do our best work and impact more people. Because once you are a dried out husk with nothing left to give, you're done. You're done. There's nothing left you can do. So it is actually to our advantage to unplug from this idea that, being self centered is selfish. Let's reframe it to being when I am centered in myself and I focus on myself first until I am overflowing, then I can give from that abundance and I can make it last. You're not gonna give until there's nothing left, and then I'll take my last breath with you, and you're done after 5 years, and you're burnt out, like all the social workers and healthcare workers that have been inundated with that old paradigm practice, where they are dried up, and then they lose their compassion, and then they lose their humanity. They like that's not how we're gonna play the game anymore. We are here to be centered in self so that we can be of service to others because it's an inner game first. It's an inner game first. We have to do our own work so that we can be an example of what is possible. So enjoy Mercury's enter into Aries, where you can focus on yourself first and not get stuck there. That's where it's out of balance, right? Aries energy of being like for me and being competitive, all that, it's not bad. It's just the first step along the leg of the evolutionary journey. Each sign in the zodiac is one step along on that journey through man's evolution. So we're going to really support ourselves into balance of self first so that we can, because if you forget to finish the sentence, then, you're being this like narcissist in the traditional pop sense, pop psychology sense, who's never focused enough on other. So we're going to see massive polarity in how people are going to experience this transit. Of course, on March 10th, the new moon is going into Pisces while the sun is still in Pisces. So this is going to let you take this new perspective from Mercury in Aries to focus on self again into that overflow that I already started talking about, and then share it in that Piscean way, right? That Piscean way of from the so that everyone else can rise to be where you are at. So how can you plant the seeds of all of what you need inside of yourself to then give the fruit to feed to the other people? You can feed more people through the fruit that you can grow for them rather than letting them chop you down and use you for firewood. That's a one-time use only thing, okay? Can you feel the difference of that? Like, do you want to be firewood or do you want to be a fruiting tree? You have to allow yourself to be that tree. You need to give yourself the resources you need. So, when we get into March 11th, the Venus comes into Pisces, which gets very dreamy. Venus is the feminine self, Mars being more of the masculine self in the shamanic astrology that I work with. And this kind of can make things feel like they're almost moving in slow motion or not at all, because these inner realms are more appealing sometimes than outward motion, at least when the transit happens all the way into that. And then we'll start to go inwards instead of fighting it. I'm going to just invite you to go inwards and then take action from that place of beingness. So this is when things come into really right relationship between the Mars and the Venus energy, the divine masculine, divine feminine, is come into the beingness first, support that with all that you are doing for yourself, and then you serve, then you take action. Take a breath in. Just feel some of that energy because it's like this transmission of that key and code to you. And then we got all that Piscean energy that shifts on March 19th, where we get to go, Happy New Year! There's so many New Years. Lunar New Year, Galactic New Year, the calendar New Year. But the astrological New Year is when the sun enters Aries. In the Northern Hemisphere, for us, it's spring equinox. Fall, it's the autumnal equinox if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. But it is a harmony time where things are balanced, equal day and night on both sides of the globe. Um, it's fresh, new, and exciting. Energy of Aries is get things started. So I encourage you to be either starting a new project or livening up old projects with new momentum, with new energy that is going to add fuel to your fire, more spring in your step. It's the new, fresh, like, we got this energy. Let's freaking go. And I want you to ride with it. And then a little bit later, Mars is gonna enter Pisces on the 22nd. Well, the sun is in Aries. This is this like beautiful, lovely combo for the light workers and healers and helpers to take aligned action on their dreams and their service work, but from that place of beingness and embodiment first, thanks to Venus in Pisces, right? It's so cohesive right now. February is astrology, and now March is astrology. It's so cohesive to me. It looks like it's all here to help you with your dreams. Like, it's so good. Can you feel it? While at the same time, if people are really out of alignment, it's going to feel bad. Because if you're like hiding from your dreams, if you're hiding from your soul gift, if you're hiding from who you are, if you're hiding from your real true soul purpose, or you're really lost and you're like spinning, then this is going to feel bad because it's going to illuminate everything that's in the way of that for you. So from the higher perspective, it's happening for you. But if you're in it and it feels like everything is crumbling, it's not a good feeling. So there's going to be dichotomy, there's going to be polarity with how people experience this. So be compassionate, okay? Be compassionate. When the full moon lunar eclipse happens in Libra on March 25th, while the sun is in Aries, it's gonna be intense, like eclipses be. And so I think that whatever is coming up is gonna be what's in the way of seeing other people's perspectives and seeing the multidimensional perspective. And it's probably gonna come up and smack you in the face. Like I said, if people have been not willing to look at their stuff, then this stuff is gonna be intense for them because the stuff is gonna be right up in there. With any eclipse, there's this opportunity to really shift fast. And some of my mentors call it like a wormhole between this eclipse and the next eclipse. So it can be a really like quick transit. And I think the next one is in April. We just have two in this eclipse season. April something, I didn't look that far ahead. I didn't remember it. So if you utilize all of these energies to shift anything that's in the way of you being able to be in alignment with seeing other people's perspectives, beautiful, magical things are going to happen in your life. If you are holding a bunch of judgments about yourself or about other people, it might be intense. You might face really a lot of judgment either from the world or for yourself. There might be some like intense scrutiny and judgment in there to show you, what's happening inside. So opportunity, any full moon to do release work. Release yourself from the judgments you're holding, consciously or subconsciously, especially judgments that like you're in the right and they're in the wrong. We want to come into this place of compassion and understanding that the reason people are holding perspectives and doing the things that they're doing is because of their circumstances and their perspective. And if you were in the exact same set of experiences and circumstances, then you would probably be doing that as well, right? Not to take away from personal power, but just people are shaped by their circumstances. So again, compassion for them. And this is again the lesson that we're really in right now at the beginning of the month with that Piscean energy, compassion, 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 not empathy, not empathy and sympathy that are like, I'm going to feel it with you and I'm going to feel bad for you. No, compassion is the key right now. And compassion means I see your suffering and I'm going to do everything in my power to shift that. And that means doing my own inner work so that I can be a light and a lighthouse and example for you, even if it triggers the fuck out of you, so that we can light up the world. Deep opportunity coming this month to see how things shape our reality, how our perception is based on our own design and experiences, and all of these things, right? So I want you to be opening to flexibility, the flexibility to try on other people's perspectives, to not be in that judgment and to be like understanding and compassionate to a degree that you haven't before, which is kind of a superpower, really, to be able to feel other people's energy and see where they're coming from without needing to take it on as your own in terms of like their pain and their suffering. I want to invite us to be anchored so deeply into our own power that we can care without getting like stuck in their suffering, because people are going to be going through it. I'm talking about how ecstatic and cohesive this energy is, but it's not going to feel like that for absolutely everyone. So what we get to do is compassion for ourselves if we are going through it, compassion to understand, again, it's our nervous system, it's our experience, it's maybe collective, it's akashic, it's happening all inside of us. And if you're feeling like it's really hard, again, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to do your clearing work. I want to call all of us into greater responsibility for our own self, but also in community and supporting each other. So, in doing the clearing work, in activating our soul gifts, in understanding and being compassionate about what other people are going through, but also not allowing ourselves to dull our light down or to go off mission because it's uncomfortable for other people. This is a really big conversation we've been having inside my Luminous Evolution community. If you're not already inside this free community, I invite you to come and play, because we are really here to support each other on this evolutionary journey of doing our soul service, but not at the expense of self, from that place of overflow. So this month, please support yourself as much as possible so that you can be that one who is just like, yes, bring me the upgrades, solar rain, not the one who is hiding from it and resisting it, because that causes more trouble, more pain along the way. It is our time, if we have done the work, to reap the rewards. Things are accelerating, manifestations are accelerating. And if you're wanting a place to really practice and amplify this, I want to invite you into my new membership. It is a reboot, a rebrand of the old creator codes. And it is because I have realized that the most essential thing for the lightworkers, healers, and helpers to do is to become so internally abundant that they can then do their soul work in the world, attract the financial and other abundance, like the resources they need to do that work at a bigger and grander scale. So, if you are ready for the clearing, healing, and activation support to be abundant AF, I'm going to be opening the doors up for that membership where you can come and play so that you can be the person that you know yourself to be and share it and shine it into the world. So, Abundant AF Lightworker, this is a $44 a month membership that you can cancel anytime. You can come and play in the world, try it on. If it's not for you, then you don't have to stay. But I would love to walk with you through this time, because honestly, if you're feeling intimidated by it, you can borrow some of my excitement, some of my absolute thrill that we are finally here at this time of the light rain, the deluge, these upgrades, these activations, because it is going to take us further faster than we have ever gone. The ascension energies are very much accelerating. And when I say ascension, this is our personal evolution. I don't believe that, there's going to be someone coming to save us. There's not going to be this light switch moment where all of a sudden everyone's like, I don't know, airlifted by aliens off the planet to some other world. No, this is the time where we, the ones we have been waiting for, step up and do the soul work to do what we need to do to co-create a new reality on the planet. If you are feeling that too, come and play. And make sure that you are inside the free community, the Luminous Evolution group. I'm just wishing you so much love on the journey, because it's getting really exciting. Have a beautiful March.